Hello there, this is Coach Sammy33, and boy, I am so glad this season is over. You want to talk about a rough season, long, very painful finish. We were sitting at 4-2 at the midway point. We lost our last six regular season games, and if you want to add in the cup, remember, one score loss to South Carolina in overtime, to Iowa in overtime as well. Eight losses in a row to end the season, and a chunk of them painful. One score, two in the cup, one score, Wake Forest, one score, NC State, one score. The other three were ugly. But here's what it is. We finished 4-8, 3-5 in conference play at the big ouch. In the conference, we clearly don't finish well. We're sub 500, so just really nothing good to talk about. We'll talk about the season goals here a little bit later on, but rough finish. Let's just jump in the stats and start looking at stuff. So looking at the team overall points, we finished 58th in the league. The problem is defensively, we're 87th. We were -7, which is really depressing when you think about it. -7, and that results in being fourth out. First downs, 181. Good for the top half of the league, but again, first down we gave up 212. That's not good. On offense, in just total yards, 4,300. We're 29th in the league. Against 4,400. I mean, I guess. The run. This is the one that probably hurts the most because I kept saying throughout the last couple of YouTube recaps it doesn't matter. This is why I say it doesn't. 1,600 yards. We're at 13th in the league. We tried to make a concerted effort between Williams and Sawchuk to get the ground game going. We were able to, even with it being on a Heisman difficulty. So if you feel like you can't run the ball, it's definitely possible. Problem is, I mean, we were really good against the run, 899, better, top half of the league, really high there. The problem was the passing. We're still in the top half of the league with 2,700 yards, but we gave up 3558, 127th, by far the worst passing defense I've ever had in the NDL. Third down, sub 50. That's not good. Still good for the top half of the league, but you want to see that number for me personally at 55. I like to see defensively at 45. We allow the convert rate of 52 basically. Fourth down, 5 of 12, and 6 of 13. Those are close enough, not too worried. And 2-point conversions. Wake Forest converted theirs. We did not convert either of ours. Good job. Touchdown interception ratio in the red zone, 17-5 versus 26-7. Ouch. Not helping. Turnovers. This is definitely the most damning thing, and I'll probably talk about this more at the end of the video. 14 turnovers. So we turn it over a little over one time per game. And we got 18. So about 1.5 per game. We'll get back to that later. 11 interceptions, 3 fumbles. 14 interceptions by the defense, 4 recovered fumbles. Return yardage, that was a help. We ran a couple of kickoffs back against Pittsburgh. And then total yards, 5,600. Problem is, total yards, 5,200. And we gave up a couple of punt returns. Clemson, kick return to Virginia Tech, and a punt return to Virginia Tech. And then the pass run rate, 53 to 46. For us, 54-ish. 46, so kind of close. So that's how we look statistically. Not too thrilled. I would like this to be closer to 50-50, but when you're behind, you have to pass the ball. And in a lot of games, we were close and able to run the ball. The problem was most of my issues this season result in this box here, the defense. We'll get to that. Let's look at the players. So statistically for the players, I mean, there's a lot to be happy about here on offense. 19 TDs to 11 interceptions. It's not terrible. Not great in terms of some of the other guys that you're seeing put up numbers in the NDL, but I'll take this almost all the time. Definitely a positive TD to interception ratio. 2,700 yards for Tommy, not 3K. but not bad. Completes 72% of his passes. On the ground, Sawchuk, we end up making the move to start him later on in the season. He ends up with 908 yards. Williams, on a few less carries, ends up with 556. So obviously the big play guy and, wearing defense down, they combined for 15 touchdowns. No one else really making a big splash here. Tommy, I mean, I could have probably ran with him more, but as was talked about in the stream, most of the runs with Tommy were going to be design runs. I didn't want to, if I came out in 5 wide, I didn't want to be that guy to, start kind of inching towards the sideline as soon as I hike the ball. I didn't want to be that guy. If there's 5 guys out there, someone should be open. Just got to find and make that throw. The killer though is this. Defensively, we struggled with this, but offensively, we also struggle with this. Over 12 games, to have a rushing attack that ranked in the top 20 of the league and not have a lot of broken tackles is kind of crazy. Because when you look at that, do the math, that's 23 broken tackles over 12 games, which means less than 2 broken tackles a game, and still putting up the numbers that we put up. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Kudos to the offensive line for giving us some good holes to run through. But man, if the running back could break the tackles, that definitely would have helped. Some extra points, some extra first downs here and there. It is what it is. Still very productive on the ground and happy with the result. In the receiving game, White definitely started off super slow, but man, when he got going, 44 catches for 882 yards, 11 touchdowns. Did not really drop the ball in the second half of the season. It did it in a lot of ways, with space, on screens, on slants, on drags. He just found ways to get open, deep routes, post routes. Like White was very, very impactful in the second half of the season, the second 2/3 of the season, and really got things going for us on offense. Deuce, fewer receptions, obviously fewer yards, only 2 TDs for him, 35 for 478, so a big disparity there. Pittman, him and Thomas kind of split. Thomas stood out in the last couple of games, but Pittman early on, was kind of the number 2 guy, in some cases number 1 when White was struggling. 40 for 394, 2 TDs. McCoy over 300 yards receiving. You got Thomas and Webster both with over 100. And crazy stat here, no running back with over 100 yards. So kudos to, part of it is because the running backs were shuffled in a lot. So, Webster had 8 receptions, Sawchuk 8. You've got Lucas down there with a couple, Singleton with some, Williams with some. So collectively, the running backs were productive out the backfield, but it really was about the receivers and trying to make sure that the ball is being pushed downfield. Pancakes, like what we kind of saw here. Pettis had a couple of odd plays, as you're going to get. Just, a missed block here or there, but 21 pancakes for him. Leonard with 24, neither one allowing sacks. Would love to see that. Most of the sacks were just kind of great play calls. Blitzes that got home and couldn't get rid of the ball quick enough. So good defensive calls. So the offensive line did its job this season. Kudos to them. Kicking, we'll skip and go back to the defense. So kicking 7-10. Obviously, the last game of Weinberg, the game was so laggy. Him missing that kick, I'm not even going to be mad about that. Missed a kick early in the season, so that was a little bit of a concern. But for the most part, Jake was reliable. Big booming leg too, so able to kick the ball deep into the end zone. Fortunately, we gave up some run backs for touchdowns, but that's not really on him. Got a strong leg. He did his part. Punt game, we didn't have to punt the ball a whole lot. Because, for our offense to have struggled at times as it did, it was, we score, we turn the ball over. Kind of the theme in the NDL, I feel like, for a lot of teams this season. 2 kick returns by Holmes, so 719 yards. We'll take that. Holmes with 65 yards to lead the way. His punt return duty, so he will definitely not be repeating as the Jet Award, but still a big game against Pittsburgh to have that special teams impact, because we really didn't have that at all this season.